I have found that videotaping the courses becomes extremely valuable for my students, particularly those who are engaged in sports, right? So you're going to give me the list of all the days that you're going to be gone. You're going to check the syllabus to make sure that if any days that you're going to be gone, you have a PowerPoint presentation or you have an exam or anything like that, that you will notify me. You should also probably just text me and let me know that you're not going to be here. If you get sick, if your mother or your family, something happens, work, you need to contact me. You need to text me, okay? If you're a chronicle or a chronic not coming to class type of person, I take it really personal, and it hurts me, okay? So the people who get a lot out of this class come to class, they communicate with me, they build a relationship with me. Mine is a relationship-based learning process. I get to know my students, I work with my students, I coach my students, I go through the resume process with them, I give them reference letters, referrals, I find them internships, I find them jobs. I work with Mary Beth over on the 3rd floor. We work really closely together. We put together programs through the finance club. I will help you all that I can, but you got to be engaged and you got to look at me as a peer, not as a professor. Okay, obviously, there's a certain respect there, but I work at the same level. I work very professional with people. I'm a business person. I'm not a trained academic PhD, from some school straight out PhD program going into academics and becoming a professor. I got 25 years experience in industry. I still work, still advise at least 5 companies currently. I got 25 years of experience in investment management. I do product development, project management. I've worked as an investment advisor, a real estate broker. I do all of that stuff. I have a lot of experience, and I do also have the credentials. I'm licensed in investment advisory. I have the Series 7, the 66, have all the insurance. I got the real estate broker's license. I did my undergraduate degree in economics and in business with concentrations in real estate, finance, banking, and accounting. Threw that in there too. I did 5 master's degrees. I did applied economics. I did a finance degree. I did public administration, political science, and information systems. Why would I do all of that stuff? Because when I was working, my employers were coming to me and saying, will you do labor policy? Will you do housing policy? Will you work with the IT team to develop some indexes for derivative trading and investment purposes to then sell to financial institutions or endowments and pension plans? Well, I need the IT background to talk to the analysts, the data analysts, programmers, the project managers, the CTO. You got to be able to talk their language. And then I went on and got sponsored by one of my companies to basically get the doctorate degree in business administration with a concentration in corporate finance with a dissertation in modern and postmodern portfolio theory. We went over all that stuff last semester in my class. So I bring all of the application into the class that makes the class totally relevant from a standpoint of going on and getting a job, okay? The book is great, this is a great book, but the book is missing a lot of stuff. The book doesn't have real life experience. It doesn't have situations in which you're asked to do things. You can rely on the book to a certain degree as a reference, but it's not going to tell you the approach and the philosophy to be able to answer real world problems and then to be able to create risk management strategies or take advantage of the market changes by developing new product and new process and how to work with people. Okay, so I'll go through all of that stuff. So that's kind of the philosophy of the class. And again, it's a relationship-based teaching method. I build relationships with my students. I don't like the teacher, student, master, servant, myopic way of working. My class is not like that. We work together as peers, as professionals, to basically solve problems together. Okay, so it makes it it's a more real life situation. Okay, so take advantage of that. Text me if you want to see me, call me. You can email me, I won't get back to you right away if you email me, but if you call me and text me, I'll get right back to you really quickly. Okay, so take advantage of my expertise and my willingness to provide you everything you need as a resource so that you can succeed. Okay. What I want to do first is I want to go around and I want to do the elevator pitches. Does everybody know what an elevator pitch is? Elevator pitch. Okay. It's either a yes or a no. Not, you know what I'm saying? It's either yes or no. Do you know what an elevator pitch is? Yes or no?
Yes.
You do? Oh, so you've given one before? You design one, you give them all the time when you talk to people? No, when you talk to the benefactors on from the rugby team that has sponsored all of your trips over to, you know, Asia and Europe and stuff like that, when you talk to those guys, do you give them an elevator pitch? No, those guys are all rich, right? They have lots of corporations, and if you give them the elevator pitch, they may hire you after you graduate and leave you an internship. If you can give them an elevator pitch, because they're going to ask you, what do you do? What do you want? That kind of stuff. So it's really important that you have an elevator pitch and you practice the elevator pitch, because people will give you exactly what you want if you ask for it, and you can succinctly tell them what you're doing and what you want. Okay, and you got to be able to do that. If you're scared to do that, nobody can read your mind yet. Apple hasn't come out with a iPhone that reads people's minds. Hopefully they won't. But you got to be able to communicate to people very, very succinctly. You got to be able to communicate with them. You got to tell them what you want. Okay. And I assume all of you want a career, correct? Raise your hand if you want a career. Okay. Everybody. Okay. The only person who didn't raise their hand probably is independently wealthy and doesn't have to worry about it, and they go straight into retirement, right? So you don't have to worry about it. But most of us have to work and do want a career. So you got to be able to ask for it. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go around really quickly. This is a bigger class than the last class. So the management of the class is going to be a little bit different dynamic. But we're going to go around, and I'm going to ask you, you're going to tell me your name, the school, your major, concentration, graduation date, the date you will graduate, not I think or I hope, I will graduate, and then the company you want to work for. Not like to work for, the one you want to work for. Nobody's going to give you a job or an opportunity anywhere if you like it or you think you like it. If you want something, then you've got my attention and I will work for you to get it. Okay? So let me start it off and then you can do it and you'll go first. Hi, my name is Larry Souza. I go to St. Mary's College of California. My major is business administration with a concentration in finance. I plan on graduating in May 2020. I want to work for BlackRock as a portfolio manager. Go.
Hi, my name is Megan Chang. I go to St. Mary's.
And try to look at them too while you're doing it, because this is networking. Your net worth is your net worth.
I'm majoring in business admin with a concentration in business analytics. I will graduate May 2020. I want to work at Google as a data analytics.
Perfect. That's awesome.
I'm Mike.
And speak up, project, and speak fast.
I'm Mike. I go to St. Mary's College, California. I'm a business administration major with a concentration in finance and minor in computer science. Graduation date will be May of 2021. The company I want to work for is Google as a data analyst.
Oh, awesome. Perfect.
My name is David Bortons. I go to St. Mary's College of California. My concentration, or my degree is business administration with a concentration in digital media and entrepreneurship. I graduate spring of 2020, and the company I'd like to work for is Essential.
What? I want to work for. Not like.
Oh,
I want.
the company I will work for is Essential. Oh, I want?
Yes.
The company I want to work for is Essential Wealth Advisors as a portfolio manager.
Excellent. I can help you.
My name is Ronan Murphy. I go to St. Mary's College, California, Moraga. Business administration major with emphasis in marketing, and I want to be the CEO of Google.
Try again. And nobody's going to believe that. I mean, you got to get into work and do that stuff. Or maybe understand.
I want to be
Okay, I'll tell you what. Why don't we go around and we'll come back to you, and you can see how everybody else does.
Okay.
Hello, my name is Colin Clancy. I go to St. Mary's. I'm a business ad major with a concentration in finance. I'm going to graduate in spring 2020. And I want to work for Axon.
AXA Advisors.
Yeah.
Not AXA.
Accent?
Accent.
Sorry.
Okay, you gotta be refined here. You gotta really focus on your communication, because you got one shot when you're talking to somebody, and the first thing they're gonna do is they're gonna totally size you up in 2 seconds. They're gonna look at your dress, and they're gonna look how you speak and how you communicate to them. And you got one shot, okay? All right, so that's really gotta focus on, this is really important. Go ahead.
Hello, my name is Cade Mayer. I go to school at St. Mary's. My major is a business major, general. My graduation date is May 2021. I would like to work at Compass and as a real estate agent.
Excellent, I can help you with that too.
My name is Mikey. I go to St. Mary's. My
Your last
major.
name?
No, I'm just kidding. Mikey Moore.
Okay.
And then
They
my
wanna know your last name too.
okay. And my concentration is business administration with analytics. I'm graduating May 2020, and then the company I want to work for is Nordstrom's as a data analyst.
Okay, excellent.
I'm Brandon Lim. I go to St. Mary's College, major in business with general concentration. I'll graduate in the fall of 2020. And the company I would like to work
No.
for,
What?
I want to work for is Genentech. It's just corporate strategy.
Excellent.
Hi, my name is Roman Zamora. I go to St. Mary's College of California. I would major in business administration with concentration in entrepreneurship. My graduation date is May of 2020, and the company I want to work for is Google in their marketing department.
Excellent. And pick a position, because you might be talking to the marketing manager, you want to be associate marketing manager. Yeah, so you want to, the person you're talking to, you want to swap out the company and the position depending on the person that you're talking to, so that you can create opportunities for yourself by controlling the conversation.
Hi, my name is Alex San. I'm currently a student at St. Mary's College of California. I have a major in business administration with a concentration in business analytics. I'll be graduating 2020. I would like to, I want to work at Salesforce as a data analyst.
Excellent.
I'm Maya Martinez. I go to St. Mary's College, California. I'm an accounting major. I will graduate May 2020. I would like to work, I want to work for Presidio Bank as an underwriter.
Excellent.
My name is Bianca Morales. I'm a student at St. Mary's. My major is business administration with a concentration in finance. My graduation date is May 2020. I want to work for Charles Schwab as a financial advisor.
Excellent. We're bringing George Pereira here to speak at the alumni event through the Finance Club. I work for George Pereira at Charles Schwab. He's the CFO. So maybe I should introduce you.
My name is Sydney Miller, and I go to St. Mary's College, and I am a business major with a concentration in marketing, and my graduation date is spring of 2020, and I want to work for Kendo and have a
Give me a position. Marketing associate, marketing manager?
Marketing manager.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Giselle Votto. I go to St. Mary's College of California. I'm currently majoring in business administration with a concentration in marketing. I will be graduating in spring of 2020, and I would like to work for Salesforce as a marketing or sales representative. I want to work for Salesforce.
Exactly. There's a Salesforce person on the board of the MS program here. He spoke twice already at 2 of our events. You might want to come to one of the board meetings.
Hi, I'm Katie Tai. I go to St. Mary's College of California. I'm a general biz ad major. I haven't quite chosen a concentration yet.
You might want to think about, if you don't have a concentration, you might want to say with a focus in marketing and finance. Marketing and finance encompasses everything, even the accounting and the digital media and stuff. But at least you have something to say instead of keeping it so broad.
My graduation date is May 2020. I would like to work for Disney as a human resource manager.
Excellent.
Hi, my name is Olivia Cowan. I'm a student at St. Mary's College of California. My major is a business administration major with a general concentration.
My graduation date will be spring of 2020, and I want to work for Pandora as a program manager.
I love it.
Hi, my name is Cassidy Hoffman. I attend St. Mary's College of California. I'm a double major in accounting and business data analytics. I will graduate in May of 2020, and I want to work for Ernst & Young as an audit associate.
You're going to.
Hi, I'm Michelle Lynn. I go to St. Mary's College of California. I'm an accounting major. My graduation date is May 2020, and I want to work for Sephora Corporate in their accounting department as a manager.
Excellent.
Hi, my name is Gavin Christie. I go to St. Mary's College. My major is business with digital media. My graduation date is May 2020, and I want to work for Vogue as a social media director.
Nice.
Hi, I'm Jessie Edblom. I go to St. Mary's College of California. My major is business admin with a concentration in both marketing and digital media. I'm going to graduate spring 2020, and the company I want to work for is Sufi Enterprises as a marketing rep.
Nice.
My name is Connor Hanna. I go to St. Mary's College. I'm a business administration major with a concentration in marketing. I will graduate in May 2020. I want to work for Accenture. As a consultant.
Excellent. Everybody should be paying attention to these.
Hi, my name is Claire Cotter. I go to St. Mary's College, California. I'm a business major that focusing in marketing and digital media. My graduation date is spring 2020, and I want to work for Benefit Cosmetics at the social media department.
Excellent. Nice job.
Hi, I'm Samantha Sweeney. I go to St. Mary's College of California. I'm a business administration major with a concentration in marketing. My graduation date is May 2020, and I want to work for Salesforce in their marketing department.
Nice.
Hi, my name is Holly Jalbert. I currently go to St. Mary's College, California. My major is business administration with a concentration in finance. I will be graduating May 2019, and I want to work for Dabble Foods as their corporate accountant.
And that's going to become a reality too, if you're not already there. Okay, you got to put your phone down or whatever. That's okay.
All right.
But I don't know what you're looking down at, so.
I'm Jack. I go to St. Mary's College, and my major is a business major with a concentration in marketing and digital media. And I'm going to be graduating in May of 2020. And I want to work. I want to work for Pixar, and I want to be a scenic designer.
Nice.
My name is Nico Larez. I go to St. Mary's College of California. I'm a phys ed major with a concentration in global business. My graduation date is May of 2020. I want to work for Under Armour as a business development specialist.
Excellent. Very nice.
Logan Bradison. I'm a student at St. Mary's College. I'm going to be graduating in May of 2020. I'm a business administration major with a focus in marketing and finance, and I want to work for Whole Foods as a corporate strategist.
That's fantastic.
My name is Ronan Murphy. I go to St. Mary's College of California. I'm a business administration major with concentration in marketing. I'm going to be graduating in May 2020, and I want to be a marketing consultant for Nike.
Excellent. Nice job. You will get what you want if you ask for it. Okay. You have basically, most of you have 2 years. Some of you are graduating this semester. Some of you are already there. Being able to articulate what you want at this stage as a junior, you're going to get what you want if you can communicate it. People will help you get there, but you got to be able to communicate it. You want to do it now. You don't want to wait until the last semester of your graduation year to be communicating with people and building relationships to get you what you want. You got to be doing it now. Okay. I love teaching juniors. Okay, in particular. Seniors, by the time they get to me, I hope they've kind of got it together. Juniors, some of them really got it together. They're already on track. They're right when they walked into the university as a freshman, and definitely by the time they were sophomores. Some juniors I get still don't know, okay, or they're not very focused. Okay, so our job is to get you focused. And the key is to change your psychology, okay? And the core of the psychology is by the time you're juniors, you have to make that psychological shift from post-adolescence into adulthood. Okay, you're already an adult. I've just had some students in the past that try to cling on to that academic, college mentality. That really is over. By the time you're juniors, you have to totally shift into career orientation and start looking at your future and start developing your career. So make that transition if you haven't. Start being serious. Focus on the grades. Focus on the career. Focus on the internships. Focus on the jobs. Okay? Get your jobs and get your place to live as soon as you can before graduation date. It will alleviate a lot of the stress and pressure because finding a place to live and finding a job is totally stressful as you get closer to your graduation date. If you can get those nailed down, it's gonna be so much easier on you during your last semester and your last year in the program. So really focus on it. My job is basically to help you, okay? Not only in the class, but to help you, to help develop you, to look at your resumes, to coach you on your interviews, to give you reference letters, to give you references, phone calls from prospective employers, to work with me and Mary Beth to get you positioned so that you can get on a really solid trajectory and make that transition from the academy into the real world smoothly and on a very solid trajectory, okay? If you're not doing that for yourself, it's gonna be a lot harder. And I do have students right now that have already walked but didn't graduate. Walked and came back and said, well, Professor Susan, I don't have a job, I've been a top for 3 months. Well, what have you been doing for 2 years? Okay. So you really need to focus. We're really dedicated. Our job is to have 100% of our students placed by the time before they graduate, and to have provided them or helped them get at least 2 internships before they graduate. They're looking for 3. So you would have had to have gotten an internship, in your freshman or your sophomore year, so that you would have at least a 3rd or a 4th internship by your junior year, okay, or your senior year, where you're scaling down your courses and you're basically adding an internship while you're going to school for your last semester or your last 2. So we want 100% placement rates, okay, and we're pretty close to it, but we know we can do a better job. So again, my philosophy of teaching is relationship-based teaching. I work really close with my students. I mentor them, develop them, help them, to push them to be able to be successful, not only in the class, but also during the time period that they're here. So look at me as a resource, okay? Don't be scared to talk to me, text me, call me. I totally respond. Email's a different thing, but I will get back to you. If you do want to come see me, call me, text me, and set up a time to come see me so I can focus on what it is you're doing so I can really help you in a short period of time, because I'm really busy and I'm sure you're really busy too. Let's kind of, what I was showing you up there was the Bloomberg TV. That's Bloomberg News. The world is constantly moving. Something is happening every single day, every minute of the day, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, every single day. The markets, the stock market, the bond market, the markets, business are constantly moving every single day, every minute of the day. So anything could happen at any point during the day or any day that will either help or disrupt the markets. Okay, and you will be a market analyst. You will be a market trader. This is a market trading environment. You are the traders. You have computers in front of your self right now. All of the traders, if you walk into a trading floor at Wells or B of A or BlackRock or any of those places, the traders are basically have 4 monitors around them. They're working in teams. There's a managing director and probably 3 analysts. They focus on certain areas of either the bond market or the stock market, or maybe they're doing mergers and acquisitions, or they're doing currency trading, whatever it is. They're constantly looking at the markets, and if something happens that is going to cause them to lose money, then they have to put at least some risk management strategies in place to mitigate the damage. If they think that the markets are moving in their favor, they're going to set positions to basically take advantage of those positions. There's no difference between a trader on a trading floor in a bank than somebody who's in a hedge fund or a private equity shop or in the Treasury Department in a multinational corporation or or somebody's working with a CFO. We all basically do the same thing. We understand, all the aspects associated with business. We leverage all of that knowledge to make better decisions, and we basically talk about stuff all the time. We identify the problems, come up with the solutions, execute on the solutions, get the problem solved, and go do it again. So the process and the methodology is exactly the same. And it doesn't matter if you're marketing or digital media or analytics or whatever. There's going to be problems. You're going to figure out the problems. You're going to figure out the solutions. You're going to come up, with the execution plan. You're going to execute on it. And if you're successful, you're going to do it again. And the more successful you are in doing it over and over again, you're going to move up the company or up and out of the company, or you're going to start your own division, or your own division within the company, or your own startup, or whatever it is that you're going to do. So that's basically the methodology. So really the markets, the 5 core asset classes, the 5 core markets is the stock market, and stocks are basically certificates issued and registered with the SEC, issued by publicly traded corporations. Your stock certificates, the certificates basically sit, somewhere, but the rights of the ownership of the companies trade between traders and investors via a stock exchange, like the New York Stock Exchange. Okay. So everybody is exposed to the stock market. Everybody is exposed to the stock market, and the stock market is a leading indicator of the business cycle. It's forward-looking, at least by a year, and it's highly volatile. The stock prices are highly volatile because there's always information coming in that's changing the price of the stock, and we're going to be doing stock valuations in this class. But stocks and tracking the stock market is the #1 most important thing, because you are going to own stock, or you're going to have stock options and stock grants or stocks within the publicly traded companies that you work for. You're going to have 401ks that are invested in either exchange-traded funds or in mutual funds that are going to be invested in stocks. You're going to be, your parents, your grandparents probably own stocks or own exchange-traded funds or own mutual funds. And if you think that you're going to inherit those stock certificates, those ETFs, and those mutual funds, you may be in line for the inheritance of those things. Maybe, okay? I usually save this for the last of the class, but I think most of you don't even know where the money is. I don't think you're on the bank accounts. I don't think you're on the security accounts of your parents and your grandparents. You don't know who's actually going to inherit the money from your grandparents to your parents to you. For all you know, your sister may have already beaten you to the punch and gotten her on the stock bank account, the bank accounts, the security accounts, the deed on the real estate, the beneficiary of the life insurance. If you don't know where the money is and you think that you're going to get the money, you're not going to get the money. Somebody's going to get the money first. So you need to go back and you need to talk to your parents and your grandparents, and you got to ask, do you have a will? Do you have a living trust? Who's on the bank account? Who's on the deed? Who's going to get the money? Do we have to split it? Do we have to share it? Or do we have to battle it out when you accidentally pass away? And we're battling it out because you didn't get a will, you didn't give a living trust, you didn't put anybody on the bank accounts. Now the bank and the government are controlling your wealth, and you guys are going to have to get attorneys to get the money from those guys, because they're going to fight you on it to keep it. Okay? This is just reality. This is just reality. Okay? So you got to know where the money is. And stocks is the #1. Get onto your computers right now. Go up to Yahoo Finance. Go up to Yahoo Finance, and tell me where the Dow Jones Industrial Average is trading right now, because the market opens at 6 o'clock our time, closes at 1, opens at 9, closes at 4, East Coast time in New York. New York is a major money center location. Basically all finance and basically the whole world revolves around Wall Street, because they own and they basically push the string. Finance is the grease within the cog of business, and they basically control the finance. So where is the Dow Jones Industrial Average trading right now?
25,400.
What is it?
25,450.
Is it up or down?
That's about 360.
How much?
360.
Is it up or down?
It's up.
It's up, 360. That's a pretty good day, so something actually came out. I think the news was that they were resolving the trade war issues, and that I think the Dems brought the president a negotiated settlement of a $1.9 billion wall, or appropriations for a wall instead of 5.9 that he wanted. So I guess we're coming pretty close to negotiating those two geopolitical events that have had major impacts on the stock market and the economy over the last 6 to 9 months. So that's probably one of them, one of the reasons. So when you're looking at movements in the stock market, a movement of 300 points up or down is a major move. A movement of 100 points, or 100 points, up or down is not a major move, that's noise. So anything around 250 up or down, something's come out. If the market goes up 500 points or goes down 500 points, something major has happened. If the market drops 1,000 points or goes up 1,000 points, something major has happened. And if the market drops 1,000 points, the stock market will shut down and they will close off trading because the market may be in a downward spiral and they don't want to have all the automated selling orders basically pushing the market further and further down. They wanted all the orders to basically clear in an orderly fashion. So the stock market is extremely important. You're exposed to it. All companies basically issue stock to raise capital in the stock market. It's a leading indicator. You will own it. It's part of you. You might as well start tracking it. Okay. Where's oil right now? Trading per barrel. There's like a menu at the top of what is it? What is it? 53.18. Where was oil trading like in 2009 or 2000? To give you kind of an idea of what the market has done, over the last, 18 years or last 10. So in Yahoo Finance, you can go back and it will give you a max where you can basically look at the history of where West Intermediate Texas oil has been trading per barrel price over time. Where was it trading in 2009 or 2000? See, what's going to happen is when you get into the real world and you're sitting in on these meetings, you're going to be bringing your phones and your laptops and your tablets and stuff like that into the meetings, and you're going to have access to internal information and external information. And somebody's going to be leading the meeting, they're going to need information, they're going to need to be able to pull the information directly from your internal databases and your reporting systems and be able to get external data very rapidly to basically answer the question so you can come up with a solution to exercise on it. So where is a barrel of oil trading right now? 53 something, where was it 9 years ago? Or where was it even 2 summers ago? Anybody have any history? Does anybody remember a couple summers ago when it cost you $5 for a gallon of gas? Yeah. I think that oil was trading around $70 back then. The all-time high in 2000, 2009 was about 100. And anybody find it? 109, 110. Anybody find it? Well, let's say it was 125 bucks and it's now trading at 50. What's the percentage change? What's the percentage drop? Just do it in your head. Give me a guesstimate. 50%? Yeah, over 50, maybe 50 to 70%. So if you're Venezuela, that's an export-oriented economy, or Russia, or Saudi Arabia, or Dubai, or Iraq, or Iran, that basically exports oil, and basically your oil revenues per barrel of oil went from $100 per barrel to 53 or half. So half of your oil revenues dropped in half. Would that be a concern? Would that be of concern? Yeah, because a lot of these countries issue sovereign bonds, and they get a lot of their tax revenues from exporting oil. And if oil drops 50% and their tax revenues drop 50%, they can't service the interest on their debt, and they default on the debt, and they basically create a sovereign default crisis that contagious around the world, particularly in the oil-producing countries. That's going to have a major impact on oil stock prices and have an impact on your portfolio. It's all related. Everything is related to you. And you have to know how to build wealth, and you got to know how to keep it and preserve it and protect it. Okay? Where is a price of gold right now per ounce? Where is the price of oil right now per ounce?
1,214.
1,314. Where has it been trading over the last year and a half? 1,314. Did you say 1,314?
Yeah.
So it's up. It was trading around 1,200 for quite some time.
February 12th, 2018, it was 1,309.
Yeah, so it's been around between 12 and 1,300 bucks an ounce. Can you tell me where it was in 2008 and 9 in the financial crisis when people were freaking out because everybody was losing their jobs and unemployment went from basically 5 to 10% and underemployment went to 25%. And real estate prices dropped by about 20 to 40% depending on where you were, and stock prices dropped between 30 to 70% depending on what types of stocks you were holding.
In 2009, it was 1,087.
Yeah, 1,087? Was that the high? Was that in 19?
2009.
2009?
Yeah.
Is there, maybe, what about 2008? Might have been a little higher.
In 2010, it went up to 1,400.
Okay, that's it. So 1,004. People were freaking out, so they were buying gold. Because they didn't know what was happening. Stock market was careening, bond market was going up. We were going into basically a recession, or maybe even a depression. And gold is a reserve where people will hide out to protect themselves against inflation and geopolitical risk and economic risk. Okay, and what about the yield on the 10-year Treasury yield? The yield on the 10-year Treasury, is the benchmark interest rate. So your student loans, your mortgage, your personal loan, your car loan is all benchmarked. It starts with the 10-year Treasury, then they start adding on these risk premiums to get to the rate. So if you look at the 10-year and you look at your student loan rate and you subtract the two, basically that is the risk premium that they are slapping on you as credit default risk. Okay, as credit default risk. Because what student loans right now are what, 1.6 trillion, outstanding right now. It could be the next place where if you guys decide to start defaulting on your student loans, it could create contagion and a credit crisis. Could happen. So where's the 10-year Treasury yielding right now?
2.68.
2.68. Where was the high? It got to what, like a year ago? It got as high as what, like almost 3, maybe 3.25, something like that. Yeah, and then it's come down. And what you'll learn is you'll learn about the Fisher equation, because interest rates, the 10-year Treasury yield, goes up and down, not only based on supply and demand factors for the security, but also based on inflation and inflation expectations. And if the yield on the 10-year Treasury is falling, then that means that bond holders and bond investors think that inflation is going to come down in the future. And what would cause inflation, or the rate of inflation, to slow or to fall in the future? What's the number one factor that would cause prices to fall? What would cause prices to fall? What would cause prices to fall?
The drop in the dollar?
Supply, demand, supply, price falls. Right? Supply, demand falls, prices fall. Okay. Is it a supply issue or a demand issue?
Demand.
What do you think? Demand. So if inflation expectations are falling and the 10-year Treasury is falling, what does that tell you about aggregate demand in the economy in the future?
It's falling.
It's going to fall. And what does that call when the economy, GDP, contracts 2 quarters in a row? What's that called? Recession. Okay. So these securities, these asset classes, are tracking everybody's sentiment and giving you forward-looking indicators of what's going to happen in the future. And we're going to study the yield curve. Okay. You probably have the yield curve, and you probably have a little bit of the theory in your macroeconomics if you remember that. But the yield curve basically drives all the values of all of these asset classes, and has been the #1 predictor of a recession 90% of the time, going back like 80 years. And currently the yield curve looks like this. It goes up because everybody's thinking the economy is going to grow, and then it goes down because everybody thinks we're going into a recession, and then it goes back up again. The shorter rates are still higher than longer rates, which means that the yield curve is inverted. And the yield curve inversion, which I'll go over on Thursday, every time the yield curve inverts, the stock market peaks 1 year later, and we're in a recession in less than 24 months. So the yield curve is already inverted 3 times, and it's still inverted, which basically means that we'll probably go into a recession within the next 24 months. Okay, go ahead.
I've looked into the yield curve a little bit, and the last past times that it's gone inverted and that the economy's collapsed,
It didn't collapse, it just went into a
Yeah,
recession.
yeah. But like inflation was like 20% or something like that.
That was
versus now it's like,
that was in the 70s and the 80s.
Yeah.
That didn't happen in the 90s and the 2000 recessions. Inflation was still pretty high, but nothing like the 80s and the 70s.
Yeah.
So go back and look.
Just look at it.
Yeah, but we'll go over the yield curve because the book does a really good job, but when you're doing the problems in the book, they're not relevant to today's environment, and you're not applying yield curve and macroeconomic theory into the finance book because the finance book was written like 3-4 years ago, and it's just irrelevant from an application standpoint. You got to look at macroeconomics, monetary policy, interest rate setting by the Fed, and the movements in the interest rates are going to move the prices of stocks, bonds, gold, foreign currency, all that stuff. So if you want to know where the economy is going to go, listen to the Federal Reserve and follow what they're doing. And then you can see what they're doing because they're the ones who bring the punch that spiked to the party, and they're the ones when before they leave, they take the punch bowl away and everybody's all hung over, for a couple days until they come back with the punch bowl to get the economy going again and get the party started again. Okay, so you got to watch the Fed. Okay, where's the U.S. dollar right now trading against the euro or the pound, or let's just use the euro and the pound. So how many dollars does it take for me to buy a euro?
1.13.
What is it? 1.13. So if it goes from 1.13 to 1.15, so now it costs me 1.15 to cost a euro to buy a euro. 1.13, 1.15. Did the dollar appreciate or depreciate? If it cost me more than the dollar, say it depreciated, exactly. And then the euro did what against the dollar? It appreciated, okay? So currency fluctuations, and we'll talk about this too, what drives currency values? Okay, what causes the value of the dollar to go up and down? What causes the value of the euro to go up and down? And based on economic theory, it's going to be productivity, expected rates of return on real estate bonds and stocks. It's going to be foreign direct investment and capital inflows, into the economy. It's going to be labor, unemployment rates and labor productivity, real wage growth. Those are all the factors. If I was going to build a model to forecast the value of the dollar in the future, those would be the factors that I would put into my regression model to then build the regression model, forecast the independent variables, and forecast the value of the dollar going forward. All of the traders have these models and these factors embedded in their brain, and they know very quickly if something changes, what the impact is going to be on not only the value of the dollar, but the value of foreign currencies. Okay? So we'll get into more detail, and I'll train you on what those factors are within a supply-demand context. So when I teach finance is a multidisciplinary approach. It encompasses everything: technology, accounting, economics, macro, micro. Finance is its own discipline. Now technology is having a huge impact, on payment systems and fintech, or fintech companies are starting to disrupt, the intermediation of financial institutions and liquidity. Cryptocurrencies are starting to have a major impact, on banks and on transactions. And I've done a lot of research in those areas. Okay, so I'm pretty up to date. So what you're going to do is you're going to track these markets, and you're going to write 5 memos. Okay, you're going to write a memo on each of these. The memos are extremely precise. They are trading memos. And trading memos that you would give if you were an analyst or a managing director to your managing partner. You give them a stack of them and say, we've done the research, our analysts have done the research, our associate managing directors have done it, we've done it, we've written up these trading briefs. Here are our views of the markets. Here's where we think they're going to go by price. Here's the reasons why we think that they're going to go up or down. Here's the charts to be able to conduct the technical analysis. And here are the derivative trades that we recommend, not only our proprietary trading units, but we are recommending to our clients to be able to profit or to mitigate the risk downturn in those asset classes, so that these are our recommendations, these are the recommendations to our clients, and to the proprietary trading units. So here are the memos right here. I will pass them around, take a bunch of pictures. These are some of the best ones that I pulled from the last few years of my classes. My students, the really good students, the really focused students, and just keep passing them around. Take a picture of them, pass it around. Take a picture, pass it around. My really good students are constantly working with me on these memos to get these memos perfect, so that then they can show these memos to potential hiring managers as writing samples. Okay, these things have got people jobs. Do you know anything about stocks? Do you know anything about stocks? Yes, I know how to value them, and I know how to trade derivatives off of the stock indexes. So these are the tangibles that you're going to get from the class. The good students are totally focused on this. They get their memos done. They make sure that they're perfect. I edit them. They give them to me. I edit them with them. I give them back. They edit it. I give it back. I edit it. I give it back until they're perfect. Okay. The student mentality. The student mentality is, here's my memo. Okay, grade it, and let's move on. Now, in the real world, it's here's my memo. Will you take a look at it and give me some feedback? Will you make some corrections and show me how you correct it to make it perfect, so that when I go do the next one and the other ones, I know how to do it myself. I can do the editing myself. Then at the end of the semester, you'll have all 5 of the memos stapled together in color, and you'll be able to use this as a writing sample to be able to show prospective employers for internships and jobs. Not only that you know how to write and format perfectly corporate state communications, but you have a very strong thesis statement, you have the derivatives, you've got the evidence and the data right here, you've got the graphs, and you basically tell me again exactly what you're tracking. Is it going to go up or down, by how much? What are the factors that are driving it up or down, and then what are your trade recommendations? Okay. So this is extremely important. When I get stuff at the end of the semester, after I've been working with these students diligently over the whole semester, and they hand in memos that haven't been corrected and are totally messed up. So I'm sitting there spending 20 minutes or 10 minutes of my time correcting these memos, and I got a lot of memos that I correct. I correct hundreds of them. I'm correcting them, and they hand in the messed up memo as the final at the end of the class. They totally take this for granted. They think all the other stuff is really important. This is what gets you over the goal. Okay? This gets you the A+. Okay? Are the memos, because it's tangible. This is a hands-on class. You're going to be doing a lot of hands-on stuff in the class. And the memos are so important. And why did I bring this into the class? Because employers were telling me that you can't write, you can't do memos. Even the Berkeley and the Stanford students can't do memos. They can't write very well. So I said, okay, I will integrate this into my class so that any one of my students that graduates from my class can walk into your shop and basically know exactly how to write a perfectly written memo that's perfectly formatted, that's perfect, and know how to do it, so that you're not wasting your time correcting their work. Okay? So the memos are extremely, extremely, extremely important. Okay. Here is the book. Okay? The book is really good. Okay, it's one of the best books. You can't afford the book? Buy one of these books, rip them apart, and share it with the other students. Okay? You could probably get along without the book, but what I would do is I would probably take pictures of the book, make copies of the book, actually read the book. Okay? I get a lot of times at the end of the semester, how could you improve the class with Professor Susan? You could talk slower, and you could spend a little bit more time like on what a security is and what a, the Dow Jones stock market index is. Well, that's all in the first chapter of the book. So if you read the book and you read the book and you come into class, you'll totally understand what I'm talking about, and you'll be building on your knowledge, not getting it for the first time. Okay? So the course is also a flipped course, which basically means that the responsibility of the class is put more on you, for you to learn, except for me to come up here and basically walk through 100 slides of PowerPoints, hoping to God that you will retain at least 10% of the content. That ain't gonna work, okay? You're responsible, you're gonna be making the presentations from the book. On the PowerPoints, you're gonna come in every Thursday, two teams per week are gonna present the book. I will present with you, so we'll cover it. You will learn, because you'll be responsible for that chapter, that we did in the other class too. Yeah, and a lot of these chapters, these PowerPoint presentations, are 40, 50 slides. How long does it take to get through 40, 50 slides? What? How long would it take to get through 40, 50 slides if you're reading every word on the slide? What? Too long, exactly. We have like ADD, we have like, get to the point, edit it down, get to the point, make it a 25-minute presentation, maybe 20-minute presentation, teach us. Grab the material, read the book, read the PowerPoint, edit it down, coordinate who's going to be talking about what, spend some time on it. Don't just walk out into the hall and say, oh, geez, we got to do chapter 6 this week. Did you know we were doing chapter 6? I didn't know we were doing chapter 6. Well, it's in the syllabus. We should ask the professor if we were doing it this week. I forgot to read the chapter. I read the syllabus. So we got to do chapter 6. Did you look at chapter 6? I didn't look at chapter 6. PowerPoint. Well, what are we going to do? Well, let's just go in there and do the presentation. We'll just read from the slides. Okay, that ain't going to work. Okay, I'll cut you off. All right. So part of the course grading is the PowerPoint presentations and your ability to assimilate the information and then communicate it to, as though you were communicating it to a senior level executives in the investment community, a board of directors, or others within your team. Okay. You're also going, I'm just going to go through this stuff. You don't have the syllabus. So let me give you the syllabus. So here's the syllabus. What you want to do is if I hand out stuff in class to you, what I would do is get a binder or get something to bring all of your notes to class. Okay? Take notes and you bring your notes. Bring the handouts, bring them to class and use them as references. Because I get questions all the time about stuff. Where it's either in the syllabus or we went over it in class, but you didn't take the notes. Since you didn't take the notes, when I ask you the question again, you can't refer to the notes because you don't have any notes. And I've been told, our generation doesn't take notes. It's like, well, what do? Well, we take pictures. It's like, okay, we'll take pictures, take notes, print them out, refer to them when I ask questions in class. It'll get a lot easier. You'll learn the material a lot quicker. Okay, so make it active learning. Active learning, this is participative. Okay? So the syllabus is also online. So everybody should go up to the course website. Does everybody have access to the course website? Now the course website, I don't know what other professors do for you on your course websites. My course websites are basically resources. They're knowledge base. Everything is up there that you need to be a yes, sir.
Do you have any more syllabuses?
Yeah, they're making one later. So the syllabus is the guide. The course website is the channel. Okay? And it's basically the technology that basically pushes out and makes available all the resources to you to excel in the class. If you don't check the online course, you don't use the course, if you don't come to class, if you don't take notes, if you don't watch the videos, if you're not working in teams, you're just piling on more and more, obstacles, to yourself. Okay, make it easy on yourself. Work in high-performance teams. Put together a high-performance team. Work in high-performance sub-teams. Learn from each other. Work with each other. Make it easier on yourself and learn the content. Don't spend most of your time pulling together the content. Make most of your time studying the content. Okay, studying the content. Does that make sense? So you can move through, instead of spending all your time putting it together and working on it, if you work in teams and you pull it together, then you can study from each other and then learn the content. Okay? So here's your course site. Now I'm going to send you announcements. Okay, I'll push out the video. I'll push out reminders. I'll push out stuff. So the announcements will be the channel, and then the reverse channel will be text and phone calls and emails to me. Okay. Here's the Wiley Plus page right here. Right here Wiley Plus. Now, before I do a presentation, before you do your presentations, what I would do is I would go up here and I would listen to the narrated PowerPoint presentations that are available to you. If you want, I would basically share a book, share a Wiley Plus login, and then that way you can distribute the costs. Here are all the narrated slides. Here are basically videos of the solutions for a lot of the homework problems. Oh, and I already posted the homework problems up there for you. So as you're working through the homework problems and you get stuck, you can basically refer to the solution so you can learn how to do it the correct way, and you can correct your work. So you're learning how to do it the right way. Okay? And it's the same way with the extra credit problem sets. It doesn't really make sense. I would rather have you learn how to do it the right way, okay, than to try to do it and learn it the wrong way and then have to go back and correct it. I would rather have you learn how to do it the right way from the very beginning and then memorize the solutions the right way. That's how I got really good grades in my accounting degree. Is basically what I would do is I would go get the student solutions manual for all of the problems in the solutions or the extra booklet, right? So I studied the problems and I studied the solutions. And I memorized hundreds of problems and solutions. So when I walked into the exam, I saw a problem that I had already memorized. I basically set up the problem and then started plugging the numbers in to get to the solution. The professors will give you extra bonus points if you structure the solution and have the right answer. But let's say you transposed a number or something, you inputted it wrong, but you have the structure right and you came really close, they're going to give you at least 70% of the grade because you structured it. The logic was correct instead of just putting in the right. Getting to the answer, you walk through the logic and the flow to get to a answer. If it's correct, if it's not, they'll give you extra points because you structured it right. It was because you transposed something or you used, one too many decimal points or not enough, didn't round correctly. Here's Excel videos around the Excel spreadsheets. We'll probably do a little bit of that stuff at the end. Here's some Excel templates, but really these two, that one is going to be the most valuable for you, okay? Especially before you go do your presentations. Who knew it right here? Does anybody know about this one? Who knew it? You can go get certificates in like R and Python and SQL and programming and all kinds of stuff. This is basically, it's like Lynda. It's another provider of content. You can go up to YouTube and get trained on pretty much anything. Who Knew It is another one of those like Lynda or YouTube to basically get you. If you're going into an interview and they ask you a question, you know something before the interview, you can go up here or Lynda or YouTube and go review the videos and be up to speed at least enough to be able to talk like you know what you're talking about when you get into the interview. The course logs, this is my course log from last semester. So if you click on it, you can see kind of the logic. These were all the presentations of Goldman Sachs that we did at the end of last semester. And actually the students, the best students, usually go first. So the best presentations are usually up here at the top. And then, but this will give you a good idea of the presentations that we do at the end of the semester. Okay. And you'll be producing this type of product. Has anybody produced a pitch book? A deck? Has anybody produced a pitch book or a deck? No? Take pictures of this. And then I need these back. These are pitch books. These are decks. These are what you're going to be using when you're presenting to a client to get the accounting auditing work. This is what you're going to be using when you're presenting to the marketing team, the investment committee, the board of directors, senior level managers. You're going to be producing these decks, these communication devices, bounded in color, perfectly communicated with no errors in it, and you're going to be walking them through it. This is the deck, this is the presentation. And I'll bring in some deliverables from last semester so you can see what the deliverable packages look like. But this is it. Okay? This is the product. This is a product that you have. This is a product that you're going to be able to show employers. And then the deliverable packages will also be representations of your work. Professor Souza, I don't have any work experience. I have no work product. I'm interviewing with Tesla next week. Do you have any recommendations? Yeah, take the pitch book, make sure it's perfect, bind it, get your memos, make sure that's perfect, and give them the deliverable package, 1 or 2, and give it to them. Make sure you have good handwriting when you give it to them. Professor Souza, that was brilliant. I got the job. They said that they were impressed with the deliverable package, the memos, and the pitch book. Okay, so it's application. So that's that. Then as you go down by date, I list the lectures for the 2 sections of this class. I will probably put a little more detail in here so you know what the videos are. If you want to go watch the videos, you can do that if you want to, but here's a chronology of all the videos of all of the classes that I did last semester. Okay. And do you think I went over the exam last semester? Do you think I videotaped it? Yeah. Do you think I videotaped the exam review session and posted it and sent it out to everybody? Yeah. Okay. So there's no excuses. Not trying to get over on you. Everything that you're studying is going to be, on the exam and totally relevant. I want you to learn the material. I don't want to trip you up and try to trick you and stuff like that. I want you to learn the material. Okay, that's it. And you'll learn the material because I want you to. And then here are the notes right here, supply-demand analysis on the 5 asset classes, and then the financial product innovation lecture and notes. Okay. Now, why would I have a lecture or an exam question on financial product innovation in a finance class? Is that marketing? Does Charles Schwab, BlackRock, B of A, Wells Fargo, Citigroup, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, do they invent financial products and processes? Do they invent products and processes? Yep. New York Life, Northwestern, AXA, maybe not AXA, but a lot of these big companies, they invent financial product. All of the requirements to invent financial product are the same requirements to invent technology products and processes. It's the exact same. Okay? So we have to talk about it. Because I'm a product manager, process manager, I'm going to teach you how to be a product process manager. To invent. Okay? Invent. Isn't that what they really want? Can you think creatively and invent solutions? Yeah, absolutely. And then I have right here the SIE exam, securities exam. Okay, anybody who's interested in investment banking, securities analysis, both fixed income or equities, anybody who's interested in mergers and acquisitions, anybody who's interested in becoming an investment advisor, anybody who's interested in going to work in marketing at BlackRock or Schwab or B of A or Wells Fargo has to pass the SIE. Okay? If you want to go work for them and be a speaker like I was, you got to have the SIE and you got to have the Series 7. Okay? So this will get you in to the finance firms to do marketing. This will get you into the finance firms to become an analyst. This will get you into the finance firms to become an investment advisor. Okay. So I put it up there. Accent Advisors sponsored us for this, $116. If you pass the exam, you can go get an internship with them guaranteed. You can get a job with them guaranteed. If you want to go work for Wells, B of A, BlackRock, whatever, you do this first. They look at your resume, they see that you passed the SIE, boom, you move to the top of the pile. And if you have some technology, some Excel, and some programming skills where you can work with large data sets, you can go further to the top of it if you're going to be an analyst. They're looking for ways to meet you. How am I doing on time? Okay, cool. So here are all the logs from the prior courses. Here's the syllabus. You've got a copy of the syllabus. Here is the statistical pretest. The statistical pretest is an exam. Actually, it's a take-home exam. Okay? And it basically sets the foundation of knowledge that you need for this class, really the knowledge that you need to go forward as a business major. Okay? I wrote this statistical pretest Years ago, I've been updating it over the years. I'll go through it really, really quickly. What it is, I would work in teams on this thing. If you can't answer some of the questions, move on, and we'll go over it in class. Okay. So, statistical pretest, law of large numbers. If you're doing any kind of analysis, do you want lots of numbers? Standardized numbers that have been normalized to do the analysis? Do you want large data sets? Come on, data analytics people. Do you want large data sets of data, or do you want small data sets? Large or small? Large. If you get large data sets and the data is standardized, do you get a normal distribution or do you get a skewed distribution or a binomial distribution? Normal distribution. If you get a normal distribution, is it easy to calculate the mean, median, and mode, measures of central tendency? If the means, medians, and modes are very tight along with the distribution, can you forecast the future easily? Yes. Okay, so we talk about that. Arithmetic means, you gotta show me the calculations from geometric means. Geometric means basically control for outliers. Arithmetic means are skewed by outliers. Show me different distributions. Yeah, you can come up. They're still going around. Did everybody get one? Different distributions are extremely important. You got to know what kind of data sets you're dealing with. Accounting majors, finance majors, ops majors. If you're doing internet-based analytics, you know, if you're a digital media person, you're going to be looking at hit rates, through rates, and conversion rates. You're going to be looking at all this data. They're going to have different distributions, and based on the different distributions, you're going to transform the data to some way or another to get it normal so you can calculate the statistics to get the information to make the decision. Okay? So you don't look at distributions. Mean, median, mode, show me the calculation, show me an example of a mode. Skewness, kurtosis, leukokurtic, that's data visualization. Okay, you gotta know how, you gotta look at the data. Do you not have a statistical pretest? Yeah, I would probably go through and start making notes, because I'm basically giving you the crash and the answers on the statistical pretest right now. Okay. Histograms, stem, leaf, box plots are all visualizations, but you need to look at the data first to see what kind of data you're looking at. Variance, standard deviation, and confidence intervals. We're going to be talking a lot about standard deviations and variances, and if you ever hear somebody say standard deviation or variance, the first thing that pops into your head is risk and volatility. Risk and volatility. Okay? Confidence levels, 99, 95, 90, ZT, statistics. The T statistics measure the statistical significance of the independent variables' ability to predict the dependent variable. The F statistic are the variables in the model's ability, the model itself's ability to predict the dependent variable. Coefficient of variation, standard deviation divided by expected return. Suggested rate of return, expected return divided by standard deviation. I'll go over this again in class, not as quickly, but I'm giving you some of the answers. Covariance, show me the equation. Correlation coefficient, show me the equation. And tell me if the correlation is 100 or 1 or 0 or -1 or -100. Are things moving in inverse? Is there inverse relationship, no relationship, or positive relationship? Show me the portfolio standard deviation equation, not the standard deviation equation, but the portfolio standard deviation equation. And that's from the book. Okay? And the ones that have the covariance and the correlation at the end. You're going to have to do some research. Time series regression models. Why would you not want to have more than 5 variables in your model? Because you get multicollinearity. Okay? And you got to start throwing some of the variables out. And which variables do you throw out? The one with the highest T statistic or the one that's been cited the most in the literature? You keep the one in there, they're highly correlated to each other, ain't correlated to the dependent variable. You throw out the independent variable that hasn't been cited the most in the peer-reviewed journal articles that make up the literature and the theory behind the model. Okay? So I'm gonna teach you on how to be model builders. There's cross-sectional regression and time series regression. Okay? You may use one or two when you're building models. You're all gonna be building models, some way or another. You have to. How do you determine the dependent and independent variable? Well, your boss is gonna tell you we need to forecast sales for the next 4 quarters. Boom. How do you forecast sales for the next 4 quarters? You go to the literature, you ask the individual, what do you think are the variables that should be in the model for me to forecast? Has there anybody that's done it before in the past? Is there anybody that has experience in forecasting high-tech semiconductor sales within the firm or outside the firm that I should be talking to, or any reports that I should be reading? Okay. How do you determine the variables? Statistical significance, multilinearity, systematic and unsystematic risk. Show me the graph, it's in the book. Show me a balance sheet, show me an income statement, show me a cash flow statement, and then show me the financial ratios that you would use historically over time to look at the performance of your firm, to basically look at the financial ratios against a direct competitor, to see the firm's competitive advantage, to compare against the peer group in the industry, to assess the overall financial condition and position of a firm. Okay. So that's the pretest. Okay. So that encompasses a lot. That's due on Thursday the 21st. Okay. So you got 2 weeks to do it. You can work in teams. Do the best you can. Come in. I'll check it. See how you did. See if you completed it. See if you had some questions that were missing. See if you didn't attempt it at all. See if you did something in between. There's videos up there, there's notes up there to help you to be able to fill this thing out. Oh, here, financial management pre-test quiz instructor notes. That's probably pretty handy. Supplemental materials for completing the statistical pre-test. Oh, I give you resources there to be able to use to do it. You can go on Google, you can look at your statistics book, you can look at your accounting book, you can look at the finance book, you can look at the, well, there's no econ in there, actually. It comes on that quiz. So that's all there. Let's see, where are we now? How much time do I have? Time check. Here is the calculator manuals, okay? This is the granddaddy of all calculators, okay? It's in reverse Polish, the HP12C, cost about $100, cost me $100 when I bought one of those in 1980. The thing hasn't changed in price, it's still pretty expensive. The one that you probably want to use is the TI, Texas Instruments BA2 Plus, it's like $40. The manuals are up there if you need to use them. The HP, what's this one? HP 10B Plus. This one's probably the most complicated. This is the easy one. This is pretty easy too, but it's reverse Polish, so this one's probably the one you want to use. Most students, I find, at least 8 of them, maybe 10 of them, 10 students do not buy a calculator because at every exam I bring in my 10 calculators and they're all gone, okay? Because you guys didn't buy it, right? Or you forgot it in your dorm room, or you forgot it, under your bed or in your car or something like that. So always bring your calculator to class, okay? Because you'll be doing problems and stuff, and you're going to need it. Trading gains. Okay, if anybody's interested in actually trading stocks, go to TD Ameritrade, open up an account, borrow $1,000 from your brother, and start trading penny stocks and see how you do. There's a ton of information there. If you want to play some games, there's a bunch of games in here. Derivatives, futures, options, stocks. It's kind of cool if you want to play with it, then go for it. This portfolio worksheet right here, I haven't brought this into this class because we've got so much stuff that we need to cover. We use this in my international finance and my investments class. If you guys want to build a portfolio, I'll show you how to build a portfolio of stocks. The spreadsheet allows you to back test and forward test the performance of your portfolio against the S&P 500 and see if you can beat the market. See if you can beat the market. If that's something you want to do, and you see yourself actively or passively trading your own portfolio at some point in time, you may want to go ahead and do that. Or we can do that as a sidebar. something like that. Okay. The quiz, the in-class quiz, is right here. Here's the quiz. Okay. Here's the quiz. This is your practice test. So I'm giving you the quiz right now so that you're totally clear exactly of what the expectations are and what the knowledge that you're going to need to assimilate, and then come into class and take the exam. Okay? What you want to do is you want to take that exam and you want to put it in here, and on the front of this blue book, you want to write in class / quiz notes. Okay? So that when I'm going through the exam, you're writing the notes in the blue book, and the blue book, along with any other notes that you take, become the study guide for the exam. Okay? It becomes the study guide. And it becomes extra credit. It becomes extra credit. So the blue book is the notes that you take on the class notes and the exam notes. It becomes the study guide and extra credit. Understand? Yeah. And if you blow the exam, or you got problems with parts of the exam, then what I'll do is I will give the exam back to you, and you'll go back and review the videos and correct the exam and resubmit it. And you have 2 days to do the exam. And I will do a review session. I'll take out of my time, I'll come either on a Sunday or Saturday or Monday or whatever it is, and we'll do 2 hours and we'll review the exam again. And I will videotape it. And I will post it. And I will send it to you. Okay? Because the exam's really hard. There's a lot of stuff to remember. But I want you to learn this stuff. Okay? That's what I'm more concerned about, is you learning this stuff. So you come in the first day, after studying your stuff. Tuesday you'll walk in, I will give you a new blue book and a new exam. You'll put everything on the floor and you'll take the exam. And then at the end of the exam, when you're done, you will give me your exam back. And then you will go study Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday morning. You come back, I will give you back your exam, and you go back and you finish the exam. So I give you a whole week to basically study for it and to improve on it. Professor sees I really didn't study, I'll be honest. I really didn't study for it, or I did enough studying. What I'm going to do is I'm going to end the exam right now. I'm already like a half hour, 40 minutes into it. I'm going to stop right now, and I'm going to go study more. Excellent. Give me the exam. Come back on Thursday. Take another shot at it, and see how you do. Okay. And then what I'll do is I'll get all of your deliverables together, a stack of deliverables that you'll hand in to me at the end of the exam on that Thursday. Me and my TAs that have already been trained on doing this class will sit down, grade all of your exams, give you some feedback on your exams. We will give you all of your stuff back. Some of the stuff will be graded, boom, you don't have to resubmit it. Other stuff you may have to resubmit. Then you go do it another week, you come back, you submit the stuff that had problems with it. We grade it again, we look at it, and if you still messed up, then you gotta come see me in my office. And I gotta walk you through it and show you exactly where you made your mistakes so that you're learning exactly the material. I'm not gonna penalize you for what you got wrong. I'm gonna reward you for what you got right and your interest, in the subject matter. I'm gonna reward you for your effort. Okay? And the more effort you put in, the higher the grade you get. Okay? And then here's the solutions to the last part of the quiz, because there's a bunch of problems, discounted cash flow problems in there. I already give you the solutions. Okay? So you learn how to do it the right way. So there's no reason why you should get it wrong, unless you blew it off totally. Okay? And then for the midterm, we're going to do 6 problems, not out of the book, but I actually wrote the problems. So we're going to do an established and a startup tech company, and we're going to value the shares. Then we're going to do a couple real estate deals. We're going to do Salesforce Tower, and we're doing Mission Bay. So we'll do some real estate valuations. So we'll do 6 valuations on the midterm. And then on the final, it's basically 2 problems, 3 problems, and that's it, and it's take home. Okay? So the midterm will be the last of the in-class and then the final take home, and then we work on the project. So I basically capture most of your effort that would have been spread out, or I think most professors, they cram all the stuff in at the end of the semester, so you're totally overloaded and stressed out at the end of the semester. No, I stress you out at the beginning of the semester. And then I just bring it down right into the, just slide right in to the finals week. And then we're just kind of chilling, and you can spend time on your other classes doing your other stuff. Okay. So it's really the first, the quiz is the toughest one, and then the midterm is all just, you know, real life application, just problems, boom, 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 boom. And then the second one is just basically taking a couple problems from the midterm, you know, 3 problems from the midterm, changing it up a little bit, and then you take it as a take home. Okay, and then that's it. How am I doing on time?
10 minutes.
Last piece is the extra credit problem set, which I also provided you with the solutions. Okay, so these are great for people who really, really want to perfect and hone their mathematical skills around the finance. It's also going to be used as problems that we'll use in class. And then if you fill it out, work through it, and hand it in with your deliverable, you get extra credit. Extra credit. And if you only filled out half of it, I'll give it back to you and say, okay, fill out the rest of it. And then give it back to me and I'll give you extra credit. So there's no freaking way, really, in this class that you can get anything less than an A unless you just totally check out. And you're just not into it. There's no reason, right? Or do you want me to go back and do, you guys can choose, do you want to do it this way? Or do you want to do a traditional class where basically I do a bell curve distribution, I give out a quiz, a midterm, and oh, you must love those finals on the final day on that Thursday, right before graduation, right before you go off to summer. I give you basically 3 assessment tests, all freaking multiple choice, and basically however you do on the exam, that's it. The A's get A's, the B's get B's, the C's get C's, the D's get D's. It will not help you if you're a math person. I could do that way too. I could read you the class and then do it that way. Because this way, if you do it my way, basically there's no such thing as a D, C, a D, or an F student. The distribution is basically truncated, and you get rid of all this garbage right here, and everybody gets pushed into the A category. Everybody gets pushed over here. Now, I have some students that will fight me over this because they just want a C. That's it. They don't care. Just give me the C or give me the D. I don't care, Professor Sousa. Just give me the D. Give me the C. No way, you're not getting the D. You're not getting the C. You don't need to get the B. Okay. You're getting an A. You got to do the work. You got to do the work. But I don't want to do the work. Well, you're gonna have to do that. Okay. If you do the work, you get an A. That's it. Okay. Pretty simple. So this is the way it should be. Right? Iterative, hands-on. You're learning the material. You got time. Do the best you can as the first attempt. Do it again. Do it again. You raise the grade. Or boom, you totally get it. You walk in. Here you go. Here's your deliverable package. Back. All A's. You get an A+. Good job. Awesome. Let's move forward. That's it. That's it. That's all I got. I think I covered everything. And then now what you guys got to do is get into teams of 3. Who wants to go? Anybody want to go on Thursday and do chapters 2 and 3? I'll do chapter 1. You do 2 and 3 on Thursday. You guys love the book, okay? I always got criticism for like not having enough book, so I brought the book in. Okay? The way to learn this material is to do the presentations. So anybody aggressive enough to want to come up and become team 1 and team 2 and basically present us with chapters 2 and 3, edited. Okay, 25 minutes each. Anybody want to come up and be team 2, team 1, and team 2? Awesome. Team 3 and Team 4 are going to do chapter 4 and 5. Team 5 and 6 are going to do chapter 6 and 7. Team 7 and 8 are going to do chapter 8 and 9. Team 9 is going to do chapter 10 during the midterm. Take some cookies. You can't eat these things.
Oh, David, I forgot.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, if I can get the memos and the pitch books back. Thank you so much.
There's so much stuff.
Thank you.
I need to go beg for my class.
Very awesome. So do I just need to sign it?
Yeah, you just
Okay.
That is my I'm not sure where I'm looking at, but I know I'm looking at.
Yeah, I have somebody at Maryland. Get you interview.
Well, I already have the answer.